he wanted to play naked for you all the night, and I guess the censors wouldn't allow it, you know. Such is life, you know.
Queens of the Stone Age aren't your misanthropic, self-obsessed bedsit dwellers who enter the land of the living only to make a record now and again. No, they are old-school rock and roll stars with colourful personalities, lifestyles and opinions. They come to rock your world with space-age guitars, a hedonistic attitude that says, if it's there, do it, and plenty of nudity. They are your favourite rockers and cartoon heroes rolled into one. So what about the nudity? Well, Nick Oliveri says he likes to appear naked as it makes him feel good inside and it freaks some of the audience out. He feels that rock bands have a duty to push the envelope and break through barriers of taste, and moreover that some stiff, repressed folk really need to be shaken up a bit. He likes to plant a bit of fear in even the hardest looking people. For instance, the mean skinheads at the Bad Religion show in Pomona, or the rednecks who followed the band since the Caius days. Of course, the bigger a deal that the press make of it, the more he loves it and continues to do it. He sees it as giving the finger to the taste police and the moral majority, as well as returning rock and roll to its primitive, outrageous roots. If Oliveri had his way, nudity would be as acceptable and common as watching television. He doesn't understand why so many eyebrows are raised. The Queen's music, particularly on Rated R, deals with unfettered hedonism. The rock and roll lifestyle of living life to the maximum and getting your rocks off. This is an accurate, honest depiction of the band's real lives, which run at breakneck speed. They admit that they write what they live, that they are what they write. They could try to imagine other people's lives and write ornate gothic operas or songs about being a single mother of 4 kids, but that's not who they are. They stress that it's particularly important to write what you know, and from the heart. This 24-hour partying lifestyle is almost a full-time job, though the boys are quick to reassure that they do find time for all the banalities of everyday life, like sleeping, eating breakfast, brushing their teeth, taking a dump, etc. They don't stick a toothbrush down a beer bottle and go, "Party!" One of the most memorable moments occurred whilst recording Rated R when the band had ingested some magic mushrooms. With the whole group as high as a kite, Oliveri attempted to drive his car but broke the key in the ignition. A sing-along session ensued, followed by bizarre attempts at songwriting. Also, before a summer festival performance in Switzerland, the group took some psychedelic drugs and played the show of their lives, running out of material but then making up new stuff on the spot as they played. Josh Homme was keen to contribute a song to a benefit record in aid of Leonard Peltier, which would have been the first political statement he'd ever made as a member of a rock band. Then, when lawyers got involved and he realised the implications of the situation, he withdrew his support. He thought he would have been able to just write a song and give it without having to pay legal representatives to ask if he could be involved. He retreated to playing music just for the love of it. As a working band, the Queens are a tight-knit, hard-working, hard-partying ensemble. They never set out to plan anything as such. What happens in the studio is mainly a result of Homme, Oliveri and producer Chris Goss bouncing ideas off each other. Therefore, their music never sounds stale or formulaic, and it can always surprise. Yet if the flowering of this spontaneity is impressive enough on record, then it's in the live arena that the group really excel. They live for and thrive on being on the road, as each performance can be different from the last and can throw up something unexpected. However, it was during a tour when the group experienced a close shave with death. All members of the Queens nearly met their makers when their tour van spun out of control on 2 inches of black ice in Saskatchewan. The van did a 360-degree turn and ended up down an embankment. The group's musical inspirations and influences are a diverse bunch, and this reflects in their own music. Anyone from Black Sabbath, Gigi Allen, Devo, Tom Waits, Hemi, K.D. Lang, Bjork, The Dickies, Roy Orbison and Johnny Cash to 13th Floor Elevators, The Stooges, Black Flag, Ween, Elvis Presley, The Prodigy, The Cramps, Bad Brains, The Ramones, Goatsnake and Metallica have featured heavily in their lives and have shaped their sound. Other sources of inspiration include Clint Eastwood, A Clockwork Orange, The Shining, Jerry Seinfeld, George Carlin, Converse sneakers, the Three Stooges, the artist Patrick Hutchinson, Baby Spice, Cameron Diaz, the brilliant music journalist Nick Kent, and of course Ozzy Osbourne. The Queens hold Ozzy in high regard purely for the way he's still doing it with integrity and a sense of humour. The Queens have some interesting opinions about the whole Napster MP3 music technology debate. They believe that trading music for free is cool, but when that person starts making money off it and the artist might be struggling to live on scraps, then there must be something wrong with that situation. They are cynical about the level of effect the Napster phenomenon is having on a band as huge as Metallica, but can see how it could seriously affect one that is just starting out. As with all bands, Queens of the Stone Age loathe being pigeonholed and categorised, but the stoner rock tag particularly rankles. Viewing it as an antiquated term anyway, they prefer to be known as a straight-ahead rock and roll outfit, avoiding formulas and bandwagons like the plague. As the Rated R album so clearly testifies, only one full listen to the band's music is needed to be convinced that the Queens are not like most other rock groups. The variety of their material is a wonder to behold, taking the listener on a voyage of discovery. They change gear and flip from mood to mood without sacrificing the group's signature tone. The Queens cannot abide the twice-filtered marketed cover bands that pretend to write original material and sell millions to kids who are shielded from the truth. They regard this music as carbon copies of copies. Positively delighting in the outlaw mentality of rock and roll, the Queens love the idea of using music as a tool with which to wind up narrow-minded people. They are aware of the issue of rock stars like Marilyn Manson influencing easily corruptible young minds enough to persuade them to commit acts of antisocial violence. They view the scaremonger mentality and associated moral panic as dumbass, and they can only laugh at it all, citing the anti-Elvis Presley fervour in the 1950s when it was believed he was the spawn of the devil. Whatever goes around keeps coming around. So, what of the Queens of the Stone Age's music? What is it for? To change the world or people's perceptions of it? The band harbour no such lofty pretensions, although they are well aware of the change they can make in a room for a couple of hours. Homme and his friends grew up playing at parties, so they like to give a show that still feels like one. Homme says that you're not supposed to talk about and analyse music, but just do it. That makes some kind of holy sense.
Kid Rock will outlast them all, because he's got more to offer than just, we're pissed off and we rap, you know what I mean?
Queens of the Stone Age don't easily fit in with the 21st century rock scene where bad boy behaviour has become more and more of a rarity. Their influences and role models mostly derive from another era entirely, a time when it was de rigueur to load up, have sex and have a good time all of the time. The Queens represent a return to these old-fashioned values. With this in mind, it's not surprising that they feel some level of affinity with Oasis, whose hedonistic activity makes most bands look like innocent choir boys on their first night away from the family. Musically, the Queens disprove the myth that heavy rock is boring, one-dimensional music peddled by dullards who couldn't get a blowjob any other way. The sheer range of sounds found on the Queen's records betray the essence of an innovator, a restless spirit hunting for ever more unique juxtapositions and sonic manipulations. The Queens are alchemists of sound, using their deep knowledge and natural talent to combine the best of yesterday's music with the finer points of today's. In a bizarre universe where things seem to have been turned on their head, kids and parents listening to the same conservative music, the Queens have injected a much-needed shot of anarchy into a complacent vein of alternative music. They have nothing overtly socio-political to say, no lifestyle messages for their fans, just no-nonsense rock and roll without pretension or grand design. The songs betray the band's lifestyle, that of getting smashed because you want to, staying up and living life to the full. They make music primarily for their own enjoyment, and not for a target demographic. The crucial thing in their output is emotional expression. If a song doesn't connect on gut level, then it's not from Queens of the Stone Age. The group shy away from an impenetrable, artsy, furrow-browed music that implies you need to have a degree to appreciate its charms. Theirs is ballsy, open, sincere, and always aiming to be accessible. The Queens are a brooding, magnificent beast, typifying and embodying all that was good about rock and roll in the first place. Drink, drugs, killer riffs and melodies that a milkman could whistle. Perhaps. Their shows are often chaotic, edge-of-your-seat affairs where anything could happen, which is what rock and roll was always meant to be. Some nights they get drunk, fall down, break something and tell an audience member to fuck off before crowd surfing, whereas on other nights the set runs smoothly and without too much danger. Josh Homme and his cohorts remain convinced that in rock and roll there lies a wisdom that, amidst the madness, debauchery, abandonment and fun, is a place of contentment. Queens of the Stone Age are certain that true happiness lies in being able to do what you want to do, whenever you want to do it. But away from the journalistic speculation as to what activity, criminal or otherwise, the Queens might get up to offstage, away from the lurid tales of touring, lies the unquenchable spirit of a pioneering band. They have influences, but not as sources or reference points, rather as fuel to the furnace of a truly scintillating entity. Their domain is the bittersweet, the sweet ache of loss, but it takes a while before you realise how sharp the tang of bitter in their bittersweet is. With the triumphant Rated R, the Queens have delivered the most important rock record since Nirvana's Nevermind. A perfect distillation of slamming drums, howling guitar and inch-perfect melodies allied to a seamless, mischievous sense of experimentation that marked out the boundaries of a higher sonic plateau. Rated R set new standards for rock music in the 21st century. As long as they can perform music and live life to the full, then Queens of the Stone Age can see no reason why they cannot continue their meteoric rise as standard bearers of a fresh, unique form of rock that is not afraid to tip its hat to its forebears.
Thank you for buying Maximum Stone Age. We hope you enjoyed it. Watch out for further titles on Chrome Dreams coming up soon. If you did enjoy it or have any comments or suggestions, write to us at Chrome Dreams, PO Box 230, New Malden, Surrey, UK, KT36YY, or email on mail@chromedreams.co.uk. For more details on joining the Maximum Collectors Club and claiming your free CDs, check out our website at www.chromedreams.co.uk or look at the booklet inside this CD. Thanks again for listening and goodbye for now.